Welcome back to the show, everybody. It is Thursday. It's Thursday Tier Talk. The channel is the upper tier, of course. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. We would really, really appreciate it. How are you, my friends?
Don't get me started.
Been a rough month, hasn't it? It's been a rough fucking month, I have to say.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
it hasn't been good.
No,
it hasn't been good. And today just capped it off. I was coming out of a meeting, and it was a strenuous meeting anyway. And I came out, and I'm walking towards the car, and I kind of take a little bit of a sigh, as if to say, "Oh, thank God it's over." And I put my hand into my pocket, and I picked up my phone. And as I picked it up, the headline read, "Legendary WWE wrestler Hulk Hogan dies age 71. And I just thought, Jesus Christ, do we need any more of this? This must go down as one of the worst months in history for deaths now. Am I?
Do you know what it is? It is normally a football show here, but we're going to be talking about Hulk Hogan for a bit, and then we'll get into football, of course. And big up to Rich. Rich in the chat, how are you, man? Rest in paradise, Hulk. Aussie, rockin' wrestling reunion. God bless, absolutely. Thank you for the memories. Appreciate you, man, being in the chat. If you could subscribe as well, if you're not a subscriber as well, really appreciate it. But do you know what it is? We obviously had to jot the stuff,
Of course.
We went through that, and as football fans, not only whether you're a Liverpool fan or not, it stings, really stings. And then last night I did a show. We did the wrestling show, the Pro Wrestling Weekly show, and we did a bit of a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Because when I came on the StreamYard tonight, my tag there in my window said R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. So then I got up this morning, went to the dock, came back from the dock, went to the gym, as you do, and I was absolutely tearing a workout out of it, and I was in this shirt, WrestleMania 6. Imagine being in this shirt in a gym, and you're hearing that Hulk Hogan has passed away, the absolute icon. And it's just, I don't know, was it we were going along and we just believed that this guy was immortal and he would live forever and that he'd probably outlive all of us or something like that. I don't know what it was, but this one hit hard, and this one pushed me back to when Eddie passed away. Because when Eddie passed away, it was rough. Bray Wyatt, when he passed away, it was rough. I know wrestlers pass away all the time and all, but there's some that you make a connection with. I started watching wrestling in 1983 when the cabling system came into the country here, and we were getting some of the US channels and stuff like that. And American football was a big thing at the time, NASCAR and the American Golf Tour and all this kind of stuff. And on the back of that came in pro wrestling that I discovered, and it's just these larger than life characters and stuff like that. But Hogan always just hit me different, And I went out, I remember it distinctly. I went out and I bought a yellow T-shirt, and I got my mum to cut the sleeves off, and I got her to cut the back out of it, the strips out of the back.
Yes.
And I got her to sew them up, and I went into town, and in town at the time there was only one T-shirt print shop. It was in the ILAC Centre.
I remember
it down that side corridor.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I got Hulkamania on the shirt, and it was my most favorite T-shirt. I wore it nearly till it disintegrated, and I got the weights bench, and I got the vitamins, and I got all that stuff. And I just became a huge Hulkamaniac, a huge Hulk Hogan fan, a huge pro wrestling fan, to the point where it kind of became my career through the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's they say if you work doing what you love, you never really work. And that's true. That holds true even for the shop,
Absolutely.
And this one just kind of shook me. And I came in from the gym and Hillary was telling me about it, and of course, and Hillary knows I'm a big old fucking sop anyway. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much to get me going, you know.
No.
And I came up here for about an hour, and I was looking at the different videos on Twitter. Edge winning the tag belts with him and marking out with him, and like Edge being such a Hulkamaniac and all, and you know that obviously the match with Rock and the match with Andre, the match with Savage, the match with Warrior, all the different matches, the turn at the Bash at the Beach, and I just spent an hour up here. I was just fucking sobbing uncontrollably, just sobbing, not bursting into tears, but just sobbing to the point now where my fucking eyes are burnt out of me here. You know, like I went and seen a really poor, really sad movie or something like that. You know what I mean? And I just reflected on it that like, not only directly but indirectly, he's been such a huge part of my life and stuff like that. As wrestling is in our lives, we are both wrestling fans and football fans. That's what we do.
We do, you know? But even, you know, if you want to go another stage on that, right? Like, if we don't have Hulk Hogan, maybe you're not the fan you are today, right?
Mm.
And maybe the shop never existed. And then even me and you sitting here tonight becomes more difficult because don't forget, I first met you through the shop, you know? And obviously we became friends later and stuff like that when we realised we had obviously similar interest in the wrestling and the football and our family lives and stuff the way they are. But like, I probably don't step into that shop if Hulk Hogan hasn't grabbed me. And if he hasn't, you know, if I'm not that kid walking around, you know, in the red and yellow and, you know, with me cross on my chest and, you know, it's just, he just grabbed you. He just did. You know, he was such an icon. I saw, I don't know whether you saw this. I saw something from Vince McMahon.
Yeah, the statement, the thing, absolutely.
Yeah, and that even got me as well. You know, because like Vincent and Hogan, you know, they'd have been through an awful lot together. You know, an awful lot together from the steroid trials and, you know, everything.
Yeah, some good, some bad. That's the way business
is. Absolutely. Yeah. But I think it was a really nice statement he put out, you know, and he, I think he did his best to give Hogan his flowers and say, you know, you are bigger than, or you were the biggest whoever, because, you know, for me, I don't think there's anyone ever in the wrestling business than Hulk Hogan for me. Now, some people might say, you know, look what The Rock has done. Absolutely. He's a more successful person. You know, Ric Flair won more titles. Stone Cold was possibly more popular. I don't know if any one of them was able to do everything that Hogan did. You know, and that for me, like that has him up on a plateau for me, you know.
Well, he's the bedrock and the foundation for all that success. You know what I mean? Because if we hadn't have got Hulk Hogan, you know, would we have ever got Stone Cold? Would we have ever got The Rock? All these things, you know what I mean? So every fantastic house or mansion has a solid foundation, and you know the foundation for pro wrestling was built by this man and stuff like that with Vince.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice to see over hopefully the next couple of days to see a lot of these guys talk about him. You know, I saw a really cool. Did you see Kane's one?
I didn't see Kane one. I seen DiBiase. I seen Slaughter. Who else did I see? I seen Vince. I seen Triple H put out a nice piece, actually, quite long as well, really long.
Kane put not a short one out, but it was only a couple of sentences. But he talks about, remember the SmackDown with him, Rock and Hogan
in the locker room.
The
Canaanites. The Canaanites.
And he has that there, you know, and he talks about, he goes, it was really easy to do a Hulk Hogan impression. He said, because like millions of other kids, I did it 1,000 times in the mirror. And when and I read that and I just went, I was that kid. Do you know?
Yeah. Baz rang me this evening. He was on the way into town on the bus, and he got the news, and he was telling me he was welling up on the bus trying to hold it back. Like, you know what I mean? And it's mad to think that this is a guy. You know, it's insane that some of them touch you this way. You know, that they just hit. You know,
Well,
never when Warrior died as well. It was such a tragedy, really. You know.
Well, I looked at I was obviously seen the message,
Mm.
and I was leaving this meeting to get into my car to drive home. And of course, the first thing was, I just put the sunglasses on, and it's only like when the mask went on, you know,
Yeah.
the tears started to flow, and I went, shit, man. And I came home and had dinner and whatever. And I said to Brody, if you need me to do anything for you, we need to do it before the podcast and whatever. And he said, yeah, okay. And he went outside, and we have a bit of crack here because there's the door in my room is at an angle from to where I am. But if you slant at the angle, I can see from my room straight into his. So if I go into the door frame and I go and I give the whistle, he knows and he looks across. But when he looks across, of course, what am I doing when he looks across?
Tears.
Now look, I'm doing this and this and this and this, and he's looking at me going, "Is the old man losing it?" And he's got no idea, right?
Yeah.
And I call him in, and I says, "Come in," and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and I'm showing him now. I'm a 40-year-old man. Right? I don't care who hears this. I do not care. And I'm doing the guns and I'm doing all of this, right? And he comes in, and of course I say, look, I said, this is what Hulk did when he was in the ring, when he was celebrating, and you're showing him bits. And of course, you're showing him you know, the iconic entrance at WrestleMania 8 when he steps out and the Hoosier Dome goes ballistic. And then, you know, obviously that at the end of the match with Justice and Papa Shango, and Warrior comes to the save, and then you're watching him come out at WrestleMania against Rock, and and we did the same thing. We watched a lot of, and he was like, and of course we can get more and more into it, and he's like, "Geez, Daddy, all right?" You know, you're like, you feel like you're, because again, we don't know this guy, we don't know Terry Bollea, but the character. And that's what we bought into. That's what, you know, that's what we bought into as kids and as adults. And we never stopped believing in Hulk, which I think is cool. And I think it's really cool that you can bring something like that with you from 5 to 55 and not, you know what I mean? That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. And really, I mean, I told you the story. I was at WrestleCon this year when we were over in Vegas, and I spoke to Mike Chioda, and we were having a good old chat. You know, I got a jersey signed to the podcast from him as well. I need to get a frame for it. But I said to Mike, Mike, give me one match you'd love to go back and do again. One match you'd love to be back in that moment again. And he said, Niall, he said, there's only one for me, and it's WrestleMania 18, Hogan versus Rock. Yeah. He says, I was in that ring, Niall, and he said for the first 5 minutes, he said, I was that fan in the front row. He says the place was just, he says, I've never felt electricity like it. He says it was incredible. You know, and it was nice to hear that as well, you know, because I mean, Mike Chioda's wrestled so many main events and so many quality wrestling matches and stuff like that, but that was the one, you know. Yeah, just I remember it all. You know, I watched the tag matches. The tag match at 1, Bundy in the cage at 2, Andre at 3 was obviously gigantic. You know, Warrior at 6 was massive. You know, and then all the way up, and he kind of literally wrestled everyone. You know, I suppose tonight we should really spare a thought as well for Kevin Nash. I know Kevin put up a post as well, but now he's lost both his brothers. You know, out of the NWO.
And he's lost his son.
So that's a rough one for him, you know.
That's a real tough one for him. You know, Kevin's obviously had his own things going on, outside of the ring, and then to lose obviously Hulk, and to lose Scott Hall is It's really tough. I think it's at times like now he's gonna need Triple H and Shawn Michaels and stuff like that to,
absolutely,
to try and back him up and fill that void and stuff like that. Because, if you're Kevin, you've gone through losing a son and two of your best friends in the world, you can start feeling like a real lonely place,
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the time, like, I mean, they've often said in interviews and stuff like that when they were on the road, they were married to these guys basically, more so than their own marriages.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, goes without saying. So, yeah, so we spare a thought for Kev as well. Obviously, out there after losing two icons who stood side by side with him and stuff like that, Absolutely, Richard. 100% will live forever. Look, I have the shop in there and I sell as much retro gear as I do new gear. Anything that comes in that's Brett, Warrior, Sean, NWO, I can't keep enough of in stock. Any of the Hulk Hogan stuff that comes in flies out the door as well. Rock, Awesome, all these things. They all shoot out the door. So it will. There'll still be people wearing Hulkamania t-shirts in 50, 60 years. Make no mistake about it.
Absolutely.
No mistake about it. Big up Jack. Jack, I knew it was you. If you don't recognize his name because I changed it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, no hassle, Jack.
Good to have you back, Jack.
Good to have you back as well, Jack. Thank you, Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea for the memories. Absolutely. Anything else that we will do a tribute show on Tuesday, I think, of next week.
Can I ask you what's your favorite moment?
Hogan moment.
Yeah.
I for me the heel turn is synonymous. But for me, Hogan Warrior at 6 is my moment. Now I loved Hogan Rock at 8, and it's very hard to break them down. Very, very hard to break them down and stuff like that and all. You know what I mean? There's been so many of them and all, but if there's one that I'd normally pull out and rewatch, it would be probably 6 or 8. 3 was iconic, for its time and what it did to catapult the business and stuff like that and all. But for me, Hogan Warrior is just. I actually had a couple of kids in the other day. Well, not kids, sorry, teens, in from Dubai, and they picked up a few shirts, and they were asking me, the guitar I have in the shop signed by Honky Tonk Man.
Yes.
They were asking me who was the guitar signed by, and I said it was signed by probably one of the greatest intercontinental champions ever in the Honky Tonk Man, and they didn't know who he was. And I said, you not remember the guy who wrestled dressed as Elvis? And they said he wrestled the Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam. And they said no. So I had to show them the video on YouTube. And when I showed them the video, to see the excitement in their faces and stuff like that and all was pretty cool and stuff like that and all, So it was just it was a magical time in wrestling back then as well. You know what I mean? There was an innocence to us when we followed it. It wasn't as at times as serious as it is now, where everyone dissects every fucking arm drag.
Exactly.
Exactly. Back then we were just looking at characters lighting up our screens, and we that's why I said even on the show last night how much I popped for Sheamus on Raw the other night, I think it was, where he made the mistake, and when he did it properly, then he comes down and he goes like this, you know what I mean? And that was my pop moment on Raw the other night and stuff like that, So sometimes it's nearly better to get it wrong at times, So yeah, it was cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's there's nothing else to add. We'll do a show on Tuesday, and if anyone wants to come on, they're more than welcome. The panel will be there anyway, and then don't forget next weekend, not this weekend, following weekend, we're going to be doing watch-alongs for SummerSlam Night 1 and Night 2. So you're more than welcome to join us for that as well. It should be a lot of fun. So all we can say is our thoughts and prayers go out to Hulk's family, to Brooke, obviously, and the son and stuff like that and all, and everyone associated with him.
Oh, yeah.
And the greater wrestling community, of course,
I have some T-shirts in the press there that I can reach, Thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And I have some T-shirts there, and I said to myself, I'll throw a T-shirt on,
Yeah.
And the 3 T-shirts that I could get my hands on, closest to them, none of them were Hogan, but they were all very, very linked to Hogan. So the first one I had was Mr. T.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 1. The second one was Macho Man. And the third one was my Razor Ramon one.
Nice.
And the three of them are there. Remember when we went to Clash, I bought these three?
Yeah.
And I had the three, and so they're still in the same spot in the wardrobe there. And, and I was kind of like, and I was going, which one? And then I went, you know what, I can't, I couldn't pick between them. So I stuck with what I had. But, yeah, it's shit when you get to an age, and a lot of these guys who you've held in such high regard for such a long time start to leave the building,
Yeah.
That's for me is probably the hardest part, and it's that realization again that we can't take any days for granted. We get one shot at this, and we gotta take the best shot we can at it,
Gotta enjoy it to the fullest, don't you?
Absolutely.
Gotta enjoy it to the fullest. Yeah, and I reflected today as well, because we had booked tickets to go to the beach shop. I think it was WrestleMania 36 in Tampa, and it was shut down because of COVID, and we couldn't go. So that was my opportunity to meet the great man. I've been in the beach shops and stuff like that now, but I'm sure, Acers is right. He's in here. Yeah, SmackDown will definitely be emotional tomorrow night, 100%. Can't hold back the tears. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, don't hold them back. Let them flow.
And isn't it funny how only recently Becky has been, the Becky Hogan and the red and yellow. And
the red and yellow, yeah.
Like it's so prevalent even at the moment on screen. So yeah, I'd say there's gonna be a lot of people, a lot of the wrestlers themselves that'll take a hit on this, because I've no doubt Becky Lynch is a similar age to myself. She absolutely grew up watching Hulk Hogan. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's easy for us as wrestling fans to turn around and go, we don't really like this guy or that girl or this guy or whatever it is, or we pick holes and stuff and stuff like that. But it's just, sometimes we talk about Mount Rushmores, and we do them in different ways and stuff like that and all. But he's just been that consistency down through it,
Oh, if he's not on your Mount Rushmore, you're in trouble.
Yeah, great news to hear Ric Flair is cancer-free as well. And he put out a lovely post today as well. He spoke about how Hogan lent him money when the son passed away in terms of the funeral and stuff like that. And I think Charlotte put out a post as well saying that when Flair was on his deathbed really close to dying as well, that Hogan stayed there with him and stayed with him the whole time and stuff like that and all, you know what I mean? So, some of the stories we hear about this guy and all this kind of thing.
Isn't that great? Okay, we're obviously two huge wrestling fans, but isn't it great to think that, at the end of Ric Flair's existence, the guy holding his hand was Hulk Hogan? Isn't that insane? Yeah.
There was nice pieces out there as well by Sting and Bully Ray as well, and Kurt Angle put out a lovely piece as well. He said there wouldn't have been Kurt Angle if it wasn't for American Made and all this kind of stuff and all.
Absolutely.
It's some really nice stuff out there and stuff like that and all, you know what I
mean? Who do you think wears the tribute gear at SummerSlam? Somebody's got to wear it. Is it Cody?
Could be.
Or is it Charlotte because of what we've just?
Could be. Becky.
Could be Becky. So that'll be when somebody walks out in the gear. That'll be another hit.
I have to say, there's nothing like as well. At 35, when I was in the MetLife, and he came out onto the stage and the music hits, and everyone at the time was talking about shag him and fuck him and all this kind of thing. When that music hit, that MetLife building actually shook.
Everybody became their 5-year-old self.
It was incredible, and it just lit up with the red and yellow, and it was just phenomenal. Remember, the stage was massive as well. And out he came and stuff like that. And it was such a privilege to experience him live at an event and stuff like that. And all. It was just so cool. Yeah, so there we go. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Another good one gone. And spread them out, please, in future, folks. Will you spread them out? If you're listening to God up there, spread them out a bit.
One a month to be fine. Like 1 month to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. John Cena, yeah, absolutely. John Cena. Possibly. Don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Right, let's get on and talk a bit of football.
While we're on the subject of football and moving in that direction, and you were getting screens and stuff ready.
Yeah.
I was scrolling earlier on, and I saw the new Sunderland jersey. Did you see this?
No.
They released it today, I think.
Okay.
But we obviously didn't have it last week because it hadn't been released. But a really nice old school sort of jersey. Very almost 1980s like. But really cool. I did like it now, I have to say. And I said I must mention that to Niall.
What's the neck on it? Is it a collar or is it a neck?
Let me show you here. It's a V-neck.
V-neck. Okay.
It's a V-neck. It's it's quite cool. I like it now, I have to say. Why I can't find it is beyond me. Here, images. Sunderland. You keep going there, and I'll try and hunt this down.
Absolutely, yeah, far away. Right, yeah. I spoke to Marky the other night on the Monday show, obviously about transfers and stuff like that. So I brought up the slide again, and we can add a few bits in, obviously, as well, and talk about different things and stuff like that that have happened. Acers, yeah, that Palace Gold away kit is really, really nice. Old school retro kit, yeah. Old school retro.
It looks really cool now. I don't know why I can't find it, but it looks insane. I didn't see the Palace one. Is this?
It's gold away kit.
Nice.
Yeah, Acers are saying it's mint. Look nice, all right. I only seen a couple of pictures on it. I glazed over it. So, right.
Well, it would fall into line with them winning the kit in season, the last 2 seasons in a row, wouldn't
it? Yeah. Right, kick us off. Let's talk about.
Let's talk about the biggest waste of money on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, far away then. Yeah, go on. You take that then.
Let's do that first, can we?
I seen this. Did you see this today about this license thing?
No.
For the new stadium. Did you read this today?
I didn't see it.
Apparently what they want you to do is, on top of renewing your season ticket, you have to buy some. This is for now if the new stadium goes ahead. There's talk about them introducing a $4,000 license that you have to buy. It's insane. And this license basically doesn't do anything that the current system doesn't do. But what it does is it allocates those seats to you for life or something like that, assuming you renew your season ticket. But I mean, that just happens anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I would have thought by definition. So it seemed like a weird thing. I don't know what it actually meant. Maybe by having the license, there's some discounts in the stadium for drinks or food or something like that. I don't know, but I didn't get into the detail of it. But I thought it was a really weird kind of move. Right, go on, talk to me then.
The biggest waste of money on the screen.
Okay.
And I spoke to a fan of this club already, and he has assured me that the manager has at least one of these in him every window. And he said, if you don't believe me, go back and look at Kai Havertz. Go back and look at Alexander Zinchenko. Go back and look at
Jorginho.
And he started creating a list.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Noni Madueke. And
I think they've signed. Is it 5 and 6? Is it 5 and 6 years? They've signed 5 Chelsea players in the last 6 seasons or something like that. They only missed out the COVID year apparently.
Might be.
Because William went in there as well at one stage, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, like the Chelsea thing isn't a big issue, provided you're going and taking the right players out of Chelsea. My biggest issue is whoever looked, and by the way, we're going to clip this, and if I'm wrong, I will hold my hand up on it over the course of the season and at the end of the season. But whoever looked at Nodi Madueke in a Chelsea jersey last year and thought, I think he'd do a great job at Arsenal, needs their head banging off the wall. Like, you've already got you've got the second best right-sided player in the league in Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
After Mo Salah, right?
And
then you go and spend 50 million on a guy who won't end up playing an awful lot of game time because of how good Saka is. And then will struggle for form because of that. And a guy who didn't light it up when given a lot of chances at Chelsea this season. I just think the Madueke deal is a crazy deal. I can make a case for the other three lads around them. I can make a case for Alanga. I can make a case for Kudos. I can make a real big case for João Pedro because I'm a massive João Pedro fan. But I am since I was singing his name when he played for Watford, and I was like, listen, somebody needs to sign this kid up. And it looked like it was going to be Newcastle. I was like, Newcastle need to get this done, and it wasn't. It was Brighton that took the leap of faith in the end, and then it's them that have obviously reaped the benefits when he was in the team and the rewards now that he's left the club with the financial situation that's left him in. And I can make cases for all of them, but for Madueke, I'm dumbstruck.
Can you make a case? Can you make a case from, because a lot of the talk coming out at the moment is they're making a case for him on the left side.
Yeah, and like, if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. If he's got to go play on the left-hand side, you know, fine, well and good, but did he play there all last season? No, he didn't. He played on the right. Did he play there when he played for Eindhoven? No, he didn't.
but we know Arteta loves this. I mean, he tried to turn Kai Havertz into a striker and all and everything.
Yeah, like I just think this is, when you're Arsenal and when you're doing, because don't forget, Arsenal have done some great business in this window. You know, Zubamendi's a great signing. Gyökeres is a great signing. Even Kepa at 5 million is a decent signing to come in and solidify the number 2 position. The boy Mascara's come in. Like, there's
did well. Kepa, didn't he play well yesterday? Didn't he in that penalty shootout? Didn't he save 3 penalties or something?
Yeah. You know, you've the boy Mascara signed today, and you've also got the boy Norgard, who at a great fee brings a bit of experience into the midfield. Like, they're all good signings. And then you see Noni and you're like, oh lads, who's done this? Because if I'm Arsenal, I spend the 50 million on Madueke on Ollie Watkins. And I spend it on Ollie Watkins to back up Victor Gyökeres and to run the channel down the left-hand side. Because it brings valuable goals to the team straight away. And it gives you another focal point at 9 if Gyökeres isn't fully fit and you know.
Yeah. It's another bucket of GA that you can throw in there that you're going to get that lad to that front line.
And instead of doing that, they decided to throw 50 million at this hack. Is the only way I can describe him. Like,
if he's on the left hand side, does he start? Does he get in ahead of Martinelli and Trossard? What you're thinking on it?
You probably start with Martinelli. I don't start with Trossard. I'm not a big Trossard fan.
Yeah.
But like, so what are you talking? Madueke and Saka either side of Gyökeres. Zubamendi is the 6. Rice is the 8 and Odegaard is the 10. Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. But I just think if you're Saka on the right again now, you go, lads, the ball's just going to keep coming my way. The other guy over the other side is going to be redundant. What's the point?
Where does Kai Havertz fit into this team now, do you think?
I don't think he fits into the starting 11 anyway. Unless, you know, Gyökeres is injured and you're going back to that false 9 and the lads going in behind Saka and Madueke or whatever. But I think you'll see a slight phasing out of Kai Havertz. I think it's been tried and it didn't really work. You know, there was glimpses, but I think now it's got to be, we got to nail our flag to the mast, and they should be all in on it. Like, if Victor Gyökeres is fit, you play him in every single game this season. You know,
is that conceivable when you look at Arsenal potentially? I don't know. They're going to play high 50s, early 60s in terms of games, aren't they?
Should certainly play 50, right?
Yeah, that's such a thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like, you didn't go out and spend the guts of 75 mil on a striker to sit him on the bench. Arsenal need that focal point. This is as we spoke about it, the possibility of being the final piece of the puzzle for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, we've recognised, even me and you talking on podcasts through the summer as well, the importance of a bench and having a bench that doesn't have at this level I'm talking about now. You know, that top 3 level, playing in Europe, getting into the latter stages of tournaments, being in the shake-up for silverware and all. You can't be bringing players on that have a massive drop-off in terms of quality and stuff like that.
I don't think so. No, I don't. And I think that's part of the problem because, you know, if you bring Saka off and you bring Madueke on, he's fresh legs and whatever, and he'll give you a certain bit, but, like, he ain't going to match up any which way with Saka. And then if you play him on the left, then you're looking at impact from Trossard and from maybe Ethan Manieri and a Martinelli or stuff like that. And that's a bit of a drop off. That's a bit of a drop off for me, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Let's get on and talk about your own club. Obviously, Rashford leaving the building, going out on loan with an option to buy. And Mbeumo, finally, I mean, I'm sure you were even fed up yourself with this whole Mbeumo thing at this stage, 7 weeks running or something like that at this stage. And also talk tonight that there might be a potential deal there with Villa, with Garnacho.
It was only 4. It was only 4 weeks, but it felt like 10.
Yeah. Were you not negotiating with him right after Cunha at the start, at the initial window? Because we're in the third.
Start of July.
I thought it was there. I thought it was much earlier.
End of June, beginning of July.
I thought he was in the first trench as well. So that's what they were saying the other day. That it's 7 weeks now trying to get him over the line, but doesn't matter anyway. He's over the line now anyway. Garnacho potentially in a swap move with Ollie Watkins. They're talking about that this evening. I'm saying obviously difficult.
It won't be a swap because of the financials.
Yeah.
Because both teams will need it on their balance sheet.
Yeah.
So there'll be 2 separate deals. And you're talking a possible 50 million each way. 50 million for Garnacho. And we would get that right away because homegrown player. And then we would give 50 for Watkins, and we could drip feed that over 3 or 4 years. So that could be massive for us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, here's the thing. Do I think Garnacho should go for more than Ollie Watkins? I do. Because I think he's got a longer contract and he's a bit younger. I think he has a higher ceiling at this stage. But I think from a United point of view, if we can get it out at a level and get a guy in, so we're undervaluing Garnacho slightly and we're overvaluing Watkins, but what that 50 million does to the balance sheet for us is huge. And that then, as you know, allows us to go and maybe get a 6 and a keeper, and then all of a sudden the whole, you know, then you can get Sancho out because you're not waiting on it. You can get Anthony out because you're not waiting on it. Malacia can go, Bayindir can go, and then you've got a bit of dead wood out. You've got 5 new players in. You've promoted some of the youth into the first team.
Starting to look like a window. For you.
Right. So that for me is really important. Really important.
I asked Marky,
I hadn't seen Xerxes in Forest.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen that. Had you?
No, I hadn't seen it. What's your thoughts on it?
It's hard to know because obviously it's just hit me, but everything would be dependent on what the deal was. You know, like I'm certainly not I'm certainly not going into a deal, any kind of a loan deal with Xerxes. You know, it would have to be a cash deal, and you'd be looking to recoup as much as what we paid as possible, which was just over the 30 million, if I'm right.
Would you go with a loan with a guarantee to buy?
No, because we need that money immediately.
Okay.
Do you know?
Yeah. Fair enough. Evan Ferguson, spoke to Mark about it the other night, moved to Roma. I was talking to Mark about it, and I was thinking, what's your thoughts on this? Is this the right move for the kid? Would you have preferred a different move? I seen him playing today. It was like a training match, I think, today or something like that. He scored 4 goals, scored the perfect hat-trick. He also had an assist as well. So he looks like he's settling into Roma life really well. Mark was also making the point on Monday as well. He said, like, this is it, because if this doesn't work out, what are you going to do? You're going to get a transfer back to the Championship or League One or something like that,
or Turkey, or that kind of.
Yeah.
You know, but it is willing to pay 35 million for Xerxes. Okay.
Does that get him out?
It's pretty close, I'd say. And I don't have an issue with Xerxes, but I think it's at a level where we can reinvest money, and, you know, we would owe less than that on him. So we would be in profit on him now because of the way it's spread over the length of the contract.
Throw 25 on it and say, listen, we'll take Gibbs White, thanks.
Well, listen, you know.
now that his release clause is common knowledge.
Yeah, like, listen, there's plenty of lads at Forest there we know we wouldn't mind having a bite of. Whether it's Murillo or Milinkovic or Sells, or, you know. So
there's plenty there you'd like.
But the 35 mil would also help us greatly in our attempts to move forward. So, you know, I think the Ferguson deal, I don't know who was kind of talking him through this and who was selling him the idea of Roma. But I think they've done a real good job.
Yeah.
I think this is a really clever move. Like, is Roma a step up from Brighton?
It's probably an argumentative point, isn't it? It's a debatable point, maybe, you know.
Well, Roma are a bigger club than Brighton.
Yeah.
He's gone through a real tough time at Brighton, at West Ham, internationally, and he's just got to move to Roma. So straight away, what do you start doing? You start filling the kid with confidence again. And then he's going to go and he's going to play in a league where lads are going to rough him up, and he's going to have to get used to it. But he has the opportunity to use his speed, you know, as a huge weapon. And size as a weapon there. Now, if he comes back having scored, let's say he scores 16 goals in the league for Roma.
Has a McTominay season.
No, well, listen.
Without winning the league.
Yeah, it's if he has a big season, you know, he's back in the shop window. He's back on the radar of Spurs. He's back on, you know what I mean? He's back in the conversation. And I think it's a great move from him. I think somebody's been really clever here. I'm hoping it's his agent or his family or somebody close to him, and they've gone, because, you know, there has been talk that the limelight, he's not a huge fan of the limelight, and he finds it quite difficult to be out there and stuff like that. This is brilliant. Go to Italy.
Yeah, this is getting out of town properly. This is a real culture change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is different. This is an opportunity to refresh and restart. The only thing I was worried about, and I mentioned it to Mark the other night with the move, is we know as well with the Italian league and the ultras and the fans and everything else, that if you don't perform or if it falls apart, they don't suffer fools gladly over there. And I was just thinking with Evan and stuff like that, with what he's gone through and stuff like that, how would he be prepared for that if it was to happen, and would he be strong enough mentally to bounce back and stuff like that? That was my only concern, because I know kind of in the Premier League and stuff like that, you know, you can coast along on bad performances and you'll hear shit on social media and stuff like that, but by and large, you're not going to have 400 fans sitting in a cage absolutely screaming the mush off you and calling you over at the end of a match and stuff, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. So we'll see.
You know what? The other thing about that is, I think it takes an awful lot more for those fans to decide to go that direction. You know, whereas I think the English football fans and the Irish football fans are a lot more fickle. You know, if the Italian lads see you going out there and putting a shift in, if it's not working, but you're putting the shift in and you've picked up a shovel and you've tried to dig yourself out of a hole, they'll back you. You know, whereas I think at times that doesn't work with English crowds, you know.
Yeah, it's just so much connected.
You know what? I put the app on, not the app. I went back into fantasy the other night. You've got to recreate your account and do all that jive, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah. And I started trying to pick a team. I'd say I was about 6 or 7 minutes into it, and I'd one goalkeeper, and I went, I don't have the fucking head for this. And I just closed it down and disappeared out the door, because it was like, it was a mindfuck. It was a real mindfuck.
Absolutely. Talk to me, Liverpool, Ekitike coming in. Seems very happy to be there and stuff like that, talking it up big style as you would expect and stuff like that. And now the pivot seems to be that Eddie Howe has been kind of spoofing us all along about this Alexander Isak thing. I read today that John Henry is parachuting into town to oversee this deal and stuff like that and all. And apparently I read this evening that there's a deal in principle with Newcastle for 130 million plus add-ons. Talk to me.
I've done enough crying tonight, Niall. Do you want me to fucking go again?
Do you think by the time the 15th of August rolls around, Alexander Isak could be a Liverpool player? With what you know today.
With what I know today, yes. Yes, I do. And because I saw his statement, which was, you know, I'm looking at options away from Newcastle. And I don't believe there's too many other clubs that can sign him.
Is it fair? Okay, it's obviously difficult when it's the Newcastle.
Are you gonna have a situation where somebody big comes in now that he's available? And the only one I'm thinking of is our newly crowned UEFA Champions League winners.
PSG.
Yeah, and because they don't really have a 9. You know, you've got Barcola and Kvaratskhelia who play on one side, and you've got Doué and Dembele who play on the other side, and then Ramos does a little bit up front and whatever. But, you know, if you bring in an Alexander Isak as a focal point to that already, you know, phenomenal squad, is that just putting the cherry on top?
The talk, it could be, but the talk at the moment is that they're not going to move from him. And the talk at the moment is that Al Hilal wanted him and offered him, obviously, the usual generational wealth.
500 grand a week, apparently.
And apparently he turned that down, that he doesn't want to move to Saudi. And I'm glad to hear that, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And the talk going around is that he has his heart set on Liverpool Football Club. So that if that's the case, that would be fabulous. I believe Alan Shearer is trying to talk him around and everything. They're parachuting everyone in to try and save this. What do you make in terms of? I mean, obviously, you know, we talk at length about Newcastle and the Newcastle fans and all that kind of stuff and things like that. But is it reasonable for Alexander Isak, 26 now, I think he is, or something like that, isn't it? It's reasonable for him at this stage to want to move somewhere in terms of silverware. Now, I'm not throwing shade at Newcastle here. I know they won the Carabao Cup last season and stuff like that. No. But the reality of Alexander Isak is he probably wants Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and stuff like that. And it's probably highly unlikely that Newcastle would deliver that. Is that a fair comment?
Absolutely. I don't think you're throwing shade at anybody saying anything like that. The move to Newcastle was somewhat of a coup for Newcastle, because for a long time we expected them to go to Arsenal, and Arsenal were the ones trying to do the deal, and in the end he ended up at Newcastle. But all it's done is it gave him a plateau to go and show the world what he could do, and he's taken it massively. He's taken a huge chance, a huge opportunity, and he's been phenomenal. Like, he really, really has. And we did speak about how we weren't sure whether he was going to be robust enough to play as many games as he has in the league, but he's been phenomenal. I think if you're Isak and you're one of the prolific, one of the biggest strikers in European football, you want to play at one of the biggest European clubs. And as amazing a job as Eddie Howe has done there, and the ownership in the background and stuff like that, they're just not that size. Newcastle are probably one of the biggest clubs in the world within a 5-mile radius of their stadium. But that doesn't necessarily translate. Whereas a lot of other clubs go the opposite way, where it's not in the immediate, it's the world, and it's
global. Yeah,
it's global. Yeah. So that's, I see him looking for that big step to one of them big clubs. Obviously, Liverpool have been linked to them. It would be massive for Liverpool to do this now, after Ekitike, after Wirtz, after Frimpong, after Kirkes, with possibly Gahey and possibly Rodrigo to come. Like, we talked about fantasy football a couple of minutes ago. It's like a kid playing FIFA.
I don't think there's never been a window like this for a club, has there? Is there any you can remember?
Well, here's your issue. If you look at it, there's probably been windows similar, but because we're now in the most immediate time, the fees have never been at this level.
But I don't mean even the fees. I mean even the quality of players all in one window coming into one club. I know when we look back at the early years of the Premier League and stuff like that, the fees, everything is relative. I'm not talking about the actual spend. I'm talking about the number and the quality of the players that are coming in, the structure they build.
I think
what you nearly call a super team, if you like.
Yeah, well, I think obviously the two times that would come to my mind is when Roman took over at Chelsea, and you had that window with Duff and Robin and Peter Cech and Carvalho, and this kind of just like Champions League winners, and all just really good. And then obviously the City windows, the early ones as well, were Robinho's, and
when you could spend,
right. Yeah. So I suppose in the era we're in now, which is the PSR era, this is unheard of, to be able to do this.
The other one that kind of tweaked me was, remember the Blackburn one when they brought in Shearer and Sutton, and
that was Jack Walker.
Jack Walker, and they loaded up Blackburn.
But they did it a little more over time, because don't forget, at that stage you could buy a player every week if you wanted.
Yeah, true.
We didn't have windows, so a player came in and did well, and then they went and got another one, and they obviously brought in Tim Flowers, Stuart Ripley, Tim Sherwood, Jason Wilcox, Alan Shearer, Colin Hendry, Chris Sutton, guys like that. So that was huge for them, absolutely. I'm not quite sure it's this level though.
No, but I was trying to think back down through the years to when teams really pulled the trigger and just went on a melee mad one, that kind of way. Because this, as I said to you, I'm blown away by this. Even though I said to you earlier in the season that I think we would go on a mad one, this is beyond what I even regarded as a mad one.
This is you falling asleep, falling into a coma and waking up, and all of a sudden you realize 4 years haven't gone by. It's been 4 weeks. Like, this is the world changing in 4 weeks for Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
Because you do go from being frugal and being a club that was very, 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 very careful about how they did their spending, and there was penny pinching.
And a team that just won the league that we've never built on that success.
So this is obviously where the lesson was learned with, we won a league. What did we do? Fuck all. What did we win afterwards? Fuck all. So we've won a league. We're in pole position. Add to it and build that dynasty. You know.
I think Ted's commentary, he's been foolish to wait this long. I think what he was doing, Ted, I think he was hoping that Newcastle would accept the bid so he could kind of leave with that little bit of fan dignity in place rather than the wave of hatred that sometimes comes when you force a transfer out. But I also think in some respects, me and Darren spoke about this as well, that this would be a very good move as well for Newcastle. We've seen it before when we sold Coutinho and we bought Van Dijk and we bought Alisson and we put them in there and that spine, and then the success started coming and stuff like that. And I think for Newcastle, if Newcastle lose Isaac and get 130 million, absorb that 130 million into the accounts and then go out there into the market. And I think myself and Darren were saying, you could sign 5 quality players with that, maybe 6. And like that could be
if you add 5, if you add, is this a way? So for Newcastle, is this a way for them to manipulate the balance sheet by getting Isaac out and then going and making those kind of Chelsea deals where you're paying somebody off over 6 years and you get to use large chunks of the Isaac money and get a lot in for it? If you get in, obviously Wilson's left the building as well. Elanga's come in to play on that right-hand side. If Isaac goes, Newcastle straight away need 2 strikers because they need to replace Wilson and Isaac. They'll then go and sign a new centre-back to play alongside Botman because Shara's getting there. They've got the 2 full-backs in Hall and Livramento. Yeah, they look at the keeper because obviously Trafford is gone off the table.
Missed out on him, yeah.
And they'll that could rejuvenate maybe another midfielder in there with Guimaraes and Tonali and stuff like that. And it starts to do wonders for Newcastle. And Newcastle recruit well. Look at Hall, look at Livramento, look at Guimaraes, look at Anthony Gordon. They spend money well, Newcastle.
I think that they have been looking, because I got a list the other day there of 11 targets that they've missed out on. So they're in the market and they're looking and they're positioning themselves and stuff like that. I just don't think they're doing a good enough job selling the project, to be honest, and stuff like that. And I think what's happening as well is more attractive deals are coming in just before they get them over the line. You know what I mean? So Trafford being the prime example, he was on the way to Newcastle and then was it City who slid in?
City. Yeah.
Slid in. There you go. And and you know what I mean? And if you're, it's the same thing. If you're weighing up Newcastle and City, you're going to go to City, aren't you?
Unfortunately, you are.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer, really.
If you're clever, you go to Newcastle, because if I'm a footballer, I want to play in that stadium every second week and feel that noise. We know that doesn't happen at the Etihad. I know City are a bigger club or a Champions League winning club. What do you get if you can go and build that at Newcastle? They'll build stadiums of you. They'll build statues of you. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of this. I'm not sure whether that's true or not.
Yeah, I still think you boys will struggle to sign him for that price. We actually won't, Ted. They did an article on it here the other day. The talk is at the moment, if we go and sign him and Gahey and Rodrigo, the talk is we'll have spent touching on nearly $500 million. But Mo Chatra on Twitter the other day did a breakdown of it. There's only 155 million goes into the accounts in this window, with the way that the deals are amortized and stuff like that. No, so we can more than capable of doing. Apparently, we can go out and sign Gahey, Rodrigo, even Fofana, I think, was on that list or something like that, and we're still not even anywhere near PSR or FFP. Apparently, that's the talk. So
I heard the same. Just to back up what you're saying, I think it was what I heard was Isaac, Rodrigo, and Gahey, along with the others, Frimpong and Kirkes and Ekitike and Verts. And all of a sudden, you still haven't even breached or gotten close to PSR.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't spend that last year. So, it's, literally didn't spend that anyway. Yeah, Rodrigo was on PSG radar. Listen, everyone's on PSG radar. And maybe that's the case. Maybe he might want to stay on the continent or something like that. We'll have to see. And I mean, PSG is very attractive now with Luis Enrique as well and stuff like that. And also, but
especially to Brazilians with the history they've had with the likes of Lucas Moura and Ronaldinho and guys like that there. You know what I mean? There hasn't been a plethora of Brazilians that have come to the league and especially to Liverpool and tore it up. So there will be that, and you just you don't know the way people think, and they go, can I be the first one, or is it a safer bet for me to go where that path has already been trodden?
Yeah, because I think Liverpool were using the lads, the in the now lads, a little bit because they were dampening down the Rodrigo links if Luis Diaz leaves. So we shall see. Wanted to get your thoughts on this. How excited are you at these lineups coming into this season?
Well, I'd be very excited if I was a Liverpool fan. I can't believe you put Noni in instead of Zubimendi. I like the Chelsea one, Neto and the lap, and
I didn't construct this, by the way. I downloaded this. I don't
Pedro
put in this kind
of work. City, look at City with Cherky and Marmoush and Haaland, and now if somebody takes out Hoyland out of that, or if we replaced Hoyland, and let's say we got a Ollie Watkins. If I'm looking at Cunha, Watkins, Fernandez, Diallo, and Mbuemo, I'm fucking really excited, by the way. Really excited. Then my problem is I look at the four lads and I go, yeah, but we've got Rasmus in front of them. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's
it does dampen that a little bit for me. But listen, great to see the two lads on the outside. We know Bruno's been our best player for a number of years, and Diallo really, really, really put his stamp and his mark on it last season for us, and it was a breakout season for him. So if we expect something similar from Diallo, Bruno to be at it as always, the two boys to bring goals and assists would be great, and then get a 9 in and stop having a goalkeeper throw balls in the net. I could be very excited about this.
What do you make of Ted's commentary that Cherky could be a poor fantasy football pick? Agree? Disagree?
I didn't see what price he is, and price will obviously play a huge part in this.
You would assume he's not overly expensive, would you?
I'll tell you now, but I think he could be. I think he could be unbelievable. Actually, I think the opposite.
Pending value, is
it? Well, pending value, but I don't imagine he's gonna be anything mental money wise. Let me look here. Sorry, it's asked me to log in again.
I've no idea, Keith. I haven't heard that, and I haven't been that close to it and stuff like that. So
he's got to be a midfielder, I'm sure.
I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it, Keith, and see what comes out. United should just do a swap deal for Garnacho for Watkins. Well, it'll be kind of like that, but money going on.
It will, but you can't make it a swap because you need the money to hit the
6.5, Darren.
6.5.
Yeah.
There's 12% of people have him in. I think at 6.5 he's a bargain.
I'm not very good at fancy football, as you know. I don't really do it, but that seems like a reasonable player to put in there.
How many points do you reckon he scores on 6.5 million? Don't forget 5 for a goal and 3 for an assist.
And he's gonna get goals in that team, isn't he? And assists.
Fucking right, he is. I think me and you get goals in that team.
Midfielder,
I reckon I reckon he scores 10 goals in the league and has 8 assists. That's 18 goals, right? So he gets 5 for each of the goals, is 50, and then he gets 3 for the assists. He's at 80. Then he's at then he gets minutes played and bonuses. I have him up at 130 plus. Yeah, I reckon 120 to 130. Ted, there you go. Words just come out of my mouth. I reckon 130 plus.
As fantasy goes, then is that a good return on 6.5?
Over 130 for 6.5 is a bargain.
Okay, all right.
For me, I don't know what Ted thinks. Ted's a bit more frugal than I am. But if I'm getting 130 points off a lad that's cost me 6.5 million, that's a no-brainer.
Right. What else do we want to touch on? What else have we got here? FAI Cup, actually. 3rd round draw. Seeing some of the results and stuff like that. Toys being played the week ending August the 17th. Give us your breakdown. Give us your calls on this then. Finn Harps versus Bray Wanderers.
Finn Harps.
You fecker.
Just because Ballybuffet is a horrible place to go.
Yeah.
Or Finn Park, as it's now known, whatever we are.
Kerry Cove.
Kerry.
Bit of a kind of a derby there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll go Kerry. I'll go Rovers. I'll go Cork. This is the big derby. Salt Hill versus Galway.
This was an excellent draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is Galway for me.
Yeah.
Shells to be Pats.
Shells losing last night 3-0 to Quarterback. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Pats, I think, winning 1-0 tonight, and Rovers won 4-0 out in Gibraltar against St. Joseph's.
I'm going to give a shout out now. I'm going to give a little shout out. I'm just skimming through here. Hopefully going to land on St. Pat's in a second. Are we done here? St. Pat's 1-1-0, yeah?
Yeah.
1-1-0. And the boy Aidan Keenan was back from injury. And also on the bench, but didn't get any game time tonight, was a young lad named Billy Hayes. And Billy made his debut in the last round, in the second round of the FAI Cup. He made a senior debut for St. Pat's. And Billy actually goes to school with my Andrew.
Wow,
and he's going into 6th year in St. Paul's College in Raheny. He's an Irish under 18 international.
Yeah.
And he has been part of the Pats Academy for a number of years now. And he made his full senior debut in the last round of the FAI Cup. And he's on the bench tonight in Europe for Pat. So big up to Billy. Congratulations, pal. Well done. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Who did you pick in that one? Shelbourne, was it, or Pats?
I did go Shells, but I've just seen the boy Keane is back, so I'm gonna change it. I'll go Pats.
Okay. Derry Drogheda?
Derry
to put the holders out. Bohemian Sligo Rovers.
Bowls.
You're deserting your Sligo Rovers from the last round.
What can I do?
Yeah.
And
what did you make of Sami Zayn with the jersey on?
This is where I was going.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
You know what? I'm not a Bowls fan, and I can't stand Oasis. However, what a jersey! You know, what a jersey! It's a phenomenal piece of kit, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a picture there the other day. I'm on a ride in one of the theme parks in America, and I'm coming down. You know the way they take the pictures, and then you can buy them after. And I'm in the picture, and I have a poncho on me. I'm actually coming down. Must be the Jurassic Park ride, and I'm coming flying down this slope. And what have I got on me? The original blue Oasis T-shirt. Mad underneath the poncho. drenched. There you go. So, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so listen, FAI Cup heating up, that is for sure. Any ideas? Who are you picking as a winner? Who do you think is going to win it? Third round draft offer.
Little bit too soon.
Yeah.
I suppose, you're looking at the usuals: Rovers, Pats, Bowls, maybe Derry. Rovers, Pats, Bowls, and Derry for now.
No problem. No problem at all. And I just had one more slide there. Obviously, it's a breakdown of the games and stuff like that. Not many games on this weekend, obviously, with the European ties on and stuff like that. So there's only 3 games in the Premier Division: Cork versus Sligo, Derry versus Bowes, and Galway versus Waterford.
Yeah.
But an opportunity for Bowes to tighten the gap somewhat on Rovers, 41-49 there. So that could be important. We do have a full listing of games in the First Division. At Lone Treaty.
And do you know what the amazing thing is here? Like, for Bowes to be able to close this to 5 points is phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a great start to the season, and right. they've had a couple of blips and stuff like that along the way. But massive. And it'd
be the same amount of games as well, because it's a game in hand.
That's what I'm saying to you. So they tie it up and there'd be 5 points in it, and it'd be great to see Bowes get that close and really make a title race coming towards the end of the season,
Division 1 then, Athlone versus Treaty.
Athlone versus Treaty. Will I tell you something awful?
Go on.
I'm on the Bowes website and I'm thinking about to buy a jersey.
Yeah. What's it got? 75 quid or 75 euro, isn't it?
€75. I think I'm going to buy it. I've never bought a League of Ireland jersey before.
It looks cool. It does look cool, in fairness.
It's phenomenal.
It's for a good cause as well, in fairness.
Am I reading it for charity here?
Yeah. So it's 100% for charity. Yeah, there's an Irish nominated charity, and then there's a charity in Manchester that was nominated by Oasis, actually.
Irish Community Care. Manchester and the Music Generation. Do you know what?
That's the norm these days, Ted, I think. I don't think you get jerseys much cheaper than that these days. 75.
Yeah, I did tell you our Ted was a bit frugal earlier on.
Come on. Ted, it's for charity, you bastard. Yeah. Think of all those starving kids in Ethiopia and Band-Aid and all. Come on.
Yeah, I think they may not have my size here. They don't have my size in stock at the moment. But I have clicked the notify me when they're back. So hopefully they'll come back into stock and we'll be able to get our hands on one.
I presume you're buying it to put it away, though, are you? You're not going to be rocking it right now, are you?
I think I'll rock it. Fuck it.
For a Premier League team, maybe for League of Ireland, would they stop paying the players peanuts and they want 75 quid for a
I wonder is there a League of Ireland shop?
I say there is, but it's probably just links then to the club shops, would it be?
Maybe, but just to get a grip on what you're paying roughly per.
I doubt there'll be more. Maybe the 75, maybe it's 65 or 70 or something. Maybe there's extra on it because it's the Oasis one for charity or something like that. But I know they're not cheap. Grahamo said it to me before about the Pats gear and stuff like that. It's expensive enough.
Well, hang on, here we go. I'm going into Shells now. I have to tell you. Shells would be my team in the League of Ireland.
Yeah.
Shells will be my team. And I'm just scrolling in here to have a peep at the jerseys. And the adult home jersey costs €72.
There you go. Yeah, so there you go. They're probably all gonna be in around the same unless you're right down on the league or something like
Well,
that.
here's the thing, right? The O'Neills make shells and O'Neills make bowls.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at it right, it's gonna be the same quality of jersey. So I'm paying
and you've got shells as well who are like current league champions, like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna end up paying an extra £3 for the cool bowls jersey, as opposed to the. Now, I wonder if you were to go slightly further afield, what do Rovers charge for a jersey?
I'd imagine they'd be top wedge as well.
How much do we think?
Shamrock Rovers manager sacked. According to Acers.
Well, we'll go and have a look now. Shamrock Rovers are £75 a jersey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's standard. Ted, you're not getting a Premier League jersey for £75 either. I don't know when's the last time you bought a jersey. Although we do have a hookup. Just saying.
Sure do.
Yeah. They've sacked Bradley, have they? He just won 4-0 in Europe this evening. What are they sacking him for? What has he said something?
Welcome to the hoops.
Exactly, Acers. 105.
They won 1-0 tonight, yeah?
No, Rovers won 4-0, didn't they?
Oh, sorry. It was the first
goal.
They
beat St. Joseph's down in Gibraltar 4-0. Jack Bourne got one, McGovern got one as well, and Gaffney got one.
I can't see anything about him getting the sack.
Where's it saying, Acers? Is it out on Twitter or X, is it? Or? I'd be very surprised. Are you sure about that? Hang on. I see Mark Hogan's in WhatsApp there to me, so he must have sent me something. Hang on. You know what he just sent me? He sent me a Bows have released a new jersey in memory of Hulk Hogan, and it's the black one with Hulkamania going across the front of it. Mark, you mad thing. You mad thing.
Would it surprise you?
I seen that, Marky. I mentioned it to thing earlier. The 4 goals and the 6 out there.
I'd love to know where Acers are saying this because I can't see a stitch of it.
Yeah, where have you seen it, Acers? Tell us where you've seen it, or is it just a brain fart? Shamrock Rovers. Why would they sack him unless something happened? There's nothing out there at the moment on Twitter. Acers must be just enjoying life or something like that about it. There's nothing there anyway. Right, give me a quick breakdown on this now.
He's having a fun Thursday night, is he?
Yeah, Shamrock Rovers manager sacked. That's weird. Athlone versus Treaty.
Athlone versus Treaty. Athlone Treaty. Treaty.
Yeah. Dundalk Wexford.
Dundalk.
Finn Harps Cove Ramblers.
Finn Harps.
Kerry versus UCD.
UCD.
And Longford Town versus Bray Wanderers.
Oh, tough one.
Bray, who just bet the champs.
Draw.
Cool. Right, that's everything I have for you tonight. And in different kind of show. Obviously, as we said, thoughts and prayers to everyone associated with Hulk Hogan, the family, the fans, everything else, and all that kind of stuff. We will do a show next Tuesday on it. It'll make up part of the show as well as the go home show for SummerSlam. But until next time, my friend.
Niall,
Yeah.
just before we go,
Yeah.
what you gonna do, brother, when the Dazzler and all the Hulkamaniacs run wild on you?
Brother. Can't leave it on that better than that. Subscribe to the channel, folks. Hit the bell notification button. Drop a like on the video or a leg drop, whatever way you want to do it. Hook that leg for a tree. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.